Snarkatarians, what's up? It's Jess. Thanks for joining me today. Today's a little bit different. I don't get a lot of stuff in the mail. I don't get anything in the mail. I'm certainly not on any PR lists. I've mentioned this before. So anything that I get as far as makeup, I purchase myself, which is fine. But after a while, you know, the wallet gets a little thin. So what I thought I would do today is kind of shop my stash, sort of pick out some things that I don't wear or use a lot, have kind of put on the back burner. And to help me decide, I asked Matt to help pick things out. So I grabbed maybe 5 or 6 things as far as primers, foundations, concealers, eyeshadow palettes, mascara, and I think a lippy, many neutral colors and shades. So he was the one who kind of picked out from, you know, the things that I had picked out. He chose what I was going to use. And as much as I appreciate him following along and, you know, supporting me in this, he does watch them with me, but he doesn't always, you know, he doesn't necessarily remember what I think of a certain foundation. So I've used all of these foundations. Some of them I like more than others. Some of them I just haven't used in a while. So he just picked what he wanted. So if this sounds fun to you and you like this kind of video, certainly give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you know when I get new things uploaded on YouTube. I'm going to insert the picking out of the makeup session right now, and then we will get into application. Okay, so today I thought it would be fun for Matt to pick my makeup. I picked things that I don't use all that often because I want to try and use them more, because I have plenty of it. So we got primers, foundations, concealers, eyeshadow palettes, lippies, and mascara. And the rest of the stuff I didn't really have a ton of them to pick from, so I just kind of picked my favorites. So Matt's gonna start and pick my primer for me. One of each. Yank it. All right, so we got the Dr. Brandt Luminizing Primer. Pick a foundation. That's a sponge. All right, this is the Tarte Foundcealer. I am a fan. Good pick. A concealer. All right. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate, which should be interesting because I have very dry eyes and I don't think it conceals very well. Pick a palette. Oh, all right. Going back to basics, the Urban Decay Naked Palette, the original. Very good, very good. Pick a mascara. Oh, I like that one. That one's fun. It's the Tarte Big Ego. I like that one. And now choose from one of my very colorful neutral lipsticks or glosses. They're all pretty much the same, but different. Oh, going with a liquid lip. All right. This is the ColourPop. See how well this focuses? I can't even read what it is. The Ultra Satin Lip. It's the ColourPop and Delilah one. What is this? It's called Wish. All right. My makeup has been picked. Ooh. Timer went off. And I'm going to put this on my face. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
So we're going to go ahead and put these things on my face. We have a brew fest to go to today. One of Matt's family is having a brew fest. This is the 3rd year that we've gone to it. So I figure nothing says brew fest more than a cheetah sweatshirt dress. Why not? It's one of those days where it's kind of overcast and on the cool side. I don't know what it's going to get like tonight. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So as you saw, he picked the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizer Primer. It's not super moisturizing. I'm still having issues with my eyes and my under eyes and my eye bags. So this isn't necessarily the most moisturizing primer that I can put under my eyes, but it does give a nice glow to the skin. So I'm gonna put this on my face. Do you guys have any plans this weekend? Like I said, we have the Brewfest, and then another friend of Matt's family is moving to Poland. So we're having a Bon Voyage picnic. Or she's actually throwing the Bon Voyage picnic for her, and we're going to that tomorrow. So it's kind of a picnic heavy weekend, which is okay. The next thing he picked, and this is actually one of my favorite foundations. I do enjoy using this. This is the Tarte Foundcealer that came out earlier this year. This is in the shade 22N Light Neutral. I will link above. It wasn't really a review. It was kind of using some new Tarte and ColourPop makeup, and I will link that above if I can find it. So I do like this. I used it quite often. I do use this with a dampened sponge, which I have done already. So I'm going to twist this puppy up, and we're going to get that on my palette. And if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I like to dot this all over my face to begin with, so I can kind of see where I'm going to need to add some more dots if I need to. I never understood putting the makeup, the foundation, on the sponge or the brush and then applying it on your face. Because I think like liquid foundations can really get soaked up in the sponge. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I can understand it more with a brush than with a sponge. I always look like I have some kind of disease when I do this, which kind of makes me laugh. I remember last year we went to this and it was so cold and dreary and damp and rainy. The weather is a little bit warmer. It'll probably get cooler tonight, but they like have a bonfire going usually. They have a band, which is pretty cool. Although I don't know who they're going to have this year, because the band that they've gotten for a few years, it was a band that we followed, are no longer together, which is sad because I really like them. They did a few of their own songs. They did mostly covers, and it is like you look at them and you think kind of Leonard Skinner covers, and then they bust out Superstition from Stevie Wonder, and at that point I was hooked. I was flabbergasted, because not only did they do Superstition from Stevie Wonder, but they did it pretty well. I will miss them. I always enjoyed going to see them. I tell you their names, but it doesn't really matter anymore. I promise I didn't try and skew Matt any particular way with any of the things that I picked out. And to prove that, as you saw, the concealer that he picked out is the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate that I never really thought hydrated very well. I was not a super duper fan of this, so, just kind of throwing some stuff in. So we're going to put this on. My eyes are still really dry and wrinkly, so I can't imagine that this is going to look very good. But this is the challenge that I gave myself when I decided to do this video. So I can't complain, right? And I remember when I use this, you don't need very much, but it does make a cool sound. That's the best part about that concealer. You've seen me use this a bunch. This is the EcoTools Ultimate Cover 360 concealer brush. This thing's great. I feel like instead of just swiping it across my under eye, it kind of presses it in. Oh, Lord. Oh, it just emphasizes my dryness and these bags so much. There's nothing hydrating about this. Could I have picked anything worse? I probably could have done myself a favor and not picked my driest concealer under these circumstances. I did not have him pick out contour because I only have like 2 things that I use. I did not have him pick out bronzer or blush or powder or highlighter. So I'm going to do that stuff, what I normally do in my routine, and then I'll be right back. For powder, I'm using the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh powder that I got in my BoxyCharm. I still like this. And also, so you know, I use the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer to do a little contour. This is in the shade Mocha, I think. Doesn't say on here. Really? I know my eyes are bad, but damn. I will list everything in the description box that I used on my face. All right, so we are back here. I have my eyebrows done. I have my eyes primed. As I showed you, I have my contour, and I did some powder. So we're gonna move on to the eyes. And as you saw, Matt picked out the Urban Decay Naked palette. This is an oldie but a goodie. This was probably, I can't remember if it was this palette or the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, which was my first big palette purchase. I don't remember which one it was, but this was one of the two. It was either first or second. And I didn't realize back in the day when I first kind of started dabbling more into makeup, the problem with this palette for me, and why I haven't used it very much, I mean, it looks practically brand new, I've hardly used it, is the fact that there are so many shimmers in it. I don't know. I like the colors, I just didn't realize how many shimmers there were, or like metallic-y looking things. I do like the Naked and Buck color, the brown neutrals. They're on the cooler side, so that actually works well with what I'm wearing. He did pick a pretty good palette not knowing what I was going to be wearing, so this will work out quite nicely. But that's probably the main reason why I don't use this palette as much, is just because I prefer mattes, M-A-T-T-E-S, for, my eyes, just because I do have more mature hooded eyes, more hooded than what they used to be, even, within maybe 6 months to a year ago. So this kind of palette works well. It doesn't work as well because of all the shimmers in it, but I am going to use the majority of the mattes, all 2 of them, and kind of smoke it out a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I am take my big old Morphe M533 super fluffy brush, and I'm going to go in with Naked. That's this one right here, the cooler of the 2 browns, and of course that will go right in my crease. Do you guys ever get earworms? It's either a phrase or a part of a song that you just can't get out of your head. It's the worst when it's a song or something that you can't stand and you can't get rid of it, but it's not too bad when it's something that you kind of prefer. So I have to say, if you're not familiar with the group Haim, H-A-I-M, they're 3 sisters. They just put out their 3rd album. Do they call them albums anymore? I guess they're still putting out albums, like vinyl albums, so that's kind of cool, but I guess you still call them albums, I don't know, EPs, I think it's a full-length sort of thing. The first song that they released off of that is Summer Girl, and it's a very catchy kind of bass line in it, which is very reminiscent of Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side. So it's a lot of bass, some strings, a lot of saxophone, and then, some, vocals. So I have that in my head, and it's not a bad thing. But if you haven't heard them, definitely check them out. I like their stuff. And this is a little bit more jazzy than some of their other things. So that's my recommendation. That's what I'm enjoying right now. So we'll move on to the kind of outer corner. This is just my basic run-of-the-mill, everyday kind of thing that I kind of do, and I'll just add a couple different colors. I'm going to go in the darker color, the darker brown, the buck color here. And I'm taking an M433 Morphe brush. It has a little bit thicker. I don't think these are synthetic brushes. I did not buy this brush. It was a gift, which I certainly appreciate, but there's certainly a difference between this brush. It's a lot more coarse than a lot of the synthetic brushes that I use. But this does a really good job getting kind of blending everything out in the corner, and I'm going to blend it up because it is kind of a little bit thinner, not quite as, fluffy. It's good at getting kind of in the crease there without going up too high on the brow bone. And this just kind of gives the eye a little bit more dimension. Okay, moving on to kind of smoking it up a little bit. I think I'm going to take Hustle. This is this kind of shimmery, plummy color. And I'm going to take that on my ring finger and kind of press it into the outer corner, outer V, and towards the middle of my lid. And I'm actually going to take more of a detail brush. I don't really want to get it up too high on the crease, then it just kind of looks weird. I'm going to take more of a fluffy brush and just kind of blend that. Get in that outer corner a little bit more, make it a little darker and a little smokier. And then I think I'll go in with a flat brush and use Toasted, this lighter one here. Bring that more into the center of the lid. And then I think I'm going to go in with Virgin, which is the very lightest one, and kind of get that into the inner corner and also on my brow bone. So I'm going to take, this is the Morphe M507 brush. And then finally, I'm going to take Gunmetal. So I think this color is super cool. It's not necessarily one that I would use on the lid or in the eye. I guess I could to maybe smoke out a corner, but I'm going to take this instead of the black color, and I'm going to use that as my eyeliner. It almost has a little bit of a shift once it's on the lid to make it look a little darker. So there's like a dark gray in it that almost that shows up really well. So it really kind of defines that upper lash line pretty nicely. Okay. So I think I'm done with that. Matt did pick a mascara. He went with the Tarte Big Ego Mascara, which I like. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I have been liking it. I think I mentioned in that my BoxyCharm video that this is kind of what I was hoping the Lash Paradise would do for me, and it just doesn't do. So I like this better than Lash Paradise. I'm one of those people. I do not like Lash Paradise, sorry, but I don't. This brush is nice and fluffy, but I don't feel like it gives me the tarantula eyes. So I'm going to bronze up and put my blush on and highlighter, and then we'll come back and do the lipstick that he picked out, or the liquid lip that Matt picked out. So I'm using the BH Cosmetics Brilliance Bronzer in Golden Gal. And then I'm going in with the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duo Matte and Shimmer. This is in the Soft Peach, which I love. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of a natural highlight with the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is also an oldie but a goodie. I haven't used this in a while. You can actually see this on camera more than I can in my mirror. And as I like to do with a highlighter, powder highlighter, I'm just going to take my sponge and press that in to make it a little less texturizing. I am going to add a little lip liner just because Matt picked a liquid lip. It's not my favorite, but I'm going to do that. I will most likely add some kind of gloss. This is also from one of my BoxyCharm boxes. This is a Dirty Little Secret lip liner. And then, as you saw, Matt picked the ColourPop and Delilah collab, the Ultra Satin Lip in Wish. It's a pretty color. I thought maybe the satin lip would be a little less drying than a regular liquid lip, but it's still drying. It's actually a pretty good neutral color. I probably got on my teeth. I don't know that it quite goes with the eye schematics, but it's not too bad. And so what I'm going to do is go finish my hair. I'll be back with my final thoughts on how well Matt did. Hair is done. I am ready. I am ready to go to the Brewfest. And I think overall Matt did a pretty good job. Now granted, the stuff that I picked out are already things that I have used, so I'm familiar with them. He wasn't. But I don't have a ton of things that I totally dislike. I do dislike the most the concealer. And it's actually not, for whatever reason, it's not as bad. I did kind of smooth it out with a dampened sponge. It's not as bad as it was. It's still emphasizing my lines of my bags that will not go away. So other than that, you know, like I said, I put that in there on my own. That was my choice to do that. He just happened to pick it. So, you know, do with it as I will. And that's part of the challenge. So thank you so much for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Ring the notifications bell. And follow me on Instagram at Pesky Snarkatarian. Also, if you like this video, again, give it a thumbs up. YouTube likes to know when things are liked. And let me know what you think. Do you think Matt did a pretty good job? I think he did a pretty good job. I do like the foundation. The foundation I've used a couple times. I'm actually happy with the eye look. I think it goes really well with what I'm wearing. He didn't know what I was going to wear today. He didn't know what color schemes were going to be in play with the palettes or the lips. So again, bravo, Matt. Leave a comment. Let me know how you think Matt did. I think he did a pretty good job. So I'm going to go off now and go to Brewfest, and then tomorrow another picnic. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.